Welcome to the show Gold Squadron Gays. It's the podcast where two Star Wars loving gays talk about and review their favorite Star Wars content while also being gay as hell. I'm your host, Bradley Brower.
I'm your other host, Charles Rogers. Big weekend for people who love the Star Wars Legacy comics.
Big weekend for people who just like Disney.
Listen, Bradley and I have a group chat with another one of our friends, and that group chat was popping off this weekend. There was a lot that was flying around.
A lot of things going on.
It was D23. We're not doing a big old D23 episode.
Right.
We don't have. I mean, as much as Bradley, I think you and I could probably talk about that Percy Jackson trailer.
I probably could, honestly, because the things that are in it, it does go it brings up so many
wild.
different...
Oh man, I need that season 4 and 5 renewal.
I
Anyway, we got a lot of information. I want to look at Starfighter first because we got several pieces of information about Starfighter, but we didn't get like too much. We got a teaser, which I found a really good video of.
I did too. I watched it.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah. I'm curious why they didn't just put it on YouTube.
They love their convention exclusive things, and
I know.
I don't know. We lucked out on this one. Somebody got a really good. We don't usually get a shot of the trailer that's this good, but somebody got the whole trailer.
Yeah, I watched it fully. It was great.
Like steady camera, like
almost like they had a tripod or something. Like they were
almost like but yeah, it was like hidden in their hat or something. Like I don't know how they.
Or maybe
got
it was
this
meta
trailer.
glasses or something. Like I don't know.
We know the plot. Vaguely, which is that Ryan Gosling is this former best pilot in the galaxy with this Imperial starfighter who nobody, like, he doesn't want anybody to know about, and he's going to team up with this kid. Ryan Gosling's character's name is Cade, apparently, spelled with a K. There's a couple things here that are very interesting to me as a fan of the EU. One of them is the name Cade.
It's not a red flag at all.
Spelled slightly different.
Well, they
spelled
always
with a K this time. But if you're like Bradley and you didn't know, Cade Skywalker is the protagonist of several arcs of the Star Wars Legacy comics, which are set in the future, several generations after Luke.
Right.
He is the protagonist of those. I don't think these things are related, but it would be funny if they were.
I don't know. I have a feeling they are.
The thing with Legacy is that it was a comic that was very much trying to be like grimdark. Like it was trying to be like, oh, we're so gritty and dark because he's addicted to death sticks. And also this is the same comics that gave us Darth Talon. So
I think, I don't know. It's giving
nothing
like, hey,
like
we're
that.
doing this without telling you we're doing this kind of thing. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody suggested this name. Also, before I move on to the thing we really want to talk about, the whole idea of him being like a ex-Imperial pilot or whatever, or having the starfighter, very Soonterfell, very Jagged Fell. 3 people who listen to this podcast are going to know what that means, but just know that I clocked that. I clocked that this reminds me a lot of the Fell family.
Is that a different franchise or is that the
No,
same
it's the same. It's more legend stuff.
Okay.
It's more of this stuff. Yes.
I never know with you, so sometimes you're just gonna pull a fucking Dragon Age reference out of your ass. And
nope, you're gonna leave. You get to leave this one in because this is a Star Wars one.
Okay.
Oh Lord. Okay, we got to talk about the thing that
talk about the thing
a lot to say about, which is the Ahsoka 2 trailer dropped.
Yes.
We got a lot out of that trailer.
A ton of information. Shocking that if you go back to when Dave Filoni was talking at Celebration on the stage about Ahsoka 2, he was giving like plot details or whatever, and he said that the first half, or he said that the Ahsoka season is split into 2 halves. It's one half is all out war, and then the other half is a thing. And it's very apparent that that's what this is, just from the trailer.
I think he said it's one big battle.
Yes.
That's going to span several episodes.
Right.
But this looks dope as hell. I adore the shot of Thrawn on his little throne. That's amazing because it's basically the heir to the Empire pose. Like they're just doing heir to the Empire.
They're just doing it, yeah. Like I'm wondering now if like I know that they've said like, oh, this Dave Filoni movie thing it's kind of on the back burner, but I'm wondering if like he's just pulling things that he was gonna do into this. And
I wonder if that might be the case.
I think that's what
I wonder if they're gonna Well, I think they've also been kind of low grade waiting to see because they made this in between like the writer strike and when
Hmm.
The Mandalorian and Grogu came out. So we don't yet know whether they're going to be able to continue making the Mandalorian stuff. We
Hmm.
know that they want to do at least one more season of The Mandalorian. We know they want to do a big crossover, which was supposed to be Heir to the Empire. So it's
Yeah, I don't know.
unclear whether they've shifted some of this stuff forward, whether or not this is going to come out and then in April we're going to get new announcements of stuff. I haven't heard anything, any rumors of any new Mandalorian or Mandoverse shows. I've heard some rumors about a Skeleton Crew season 2, but I don't know if that really counts.
Yeah, I don't know because like anything that even if any of that was true, like it's already August, right, of this year. That means no more Star Wars is filming the rest of this year. They're not going to film anything. Nothing is happening because of holidays and things like that. Just for a production schedule, nothing will happen the rest of this year. I can tell you pretty much. Spring, like they would have to start shooting spring of next year of 2027. Anything Mandalorian season 4, anything Ahsoka season 3, anything, whatever. It would have to start then if they're gonna do it. Because then because we wouldn't get anything until 2028. You know what I mean? Like it's this like I don't know what's gonna happen with this because I feel like Ahsoka is the end of the TV shows right now. Like we don't have anything
Yes, we
else.
don't have anything announced
Right.
currently. I've heard rumors that they might be shifting focus to animation.
Hmm.
I would believe that. I would also believe that maybe Ahsoka and maybe they'll do the big crossover movie still. Like I could see them going, let's do the big crossover movie,
Hmm.
and then that'll be it.
I agree. I could see
I
them
could
doing
see
that.
them doing that. I could see them doing a Mandalorian season 4 that also functions as the crossover.
That
So
seems more likely, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like whatever
I
budgetary makes
don't.
more sense for them.
It seems overall like they're scaling back on the live action shows across the board, which I
Yeah.
think is largely a good idea. But I also think Marvel has kind of been in more dire straits than Star Wars
Hmm.
over the past couple of years. Star Wars has the animated shows that it can continue to reliably bank on,
Sure.
and it has other. I think part of the difference between Star Wars and Marvel is that, with the exception of comic books, there isn't a lot, comic books in the theme park, there isn't a lot of like cross promotion that you can do as far as the internal media itself. So Star Wars has the comics and the books and the games. And while all of this doesn't count, hi Chris, none of that matters realistically. It also kind of matters in that it's something that can keep cross promote the franchise and keep the franchise going. And also, they can continue to make money off stuff, for lower effort. So, a show does very well. You have a lot of merchandise, but you also have a lot of books and comics. And you could do a Mandalorian Lego special that we're not going to talk about because it's just going to be the Mandalorian, but with the Legos. You can do
Yeah.
all of that in a way that I don't think you can do with Marvel. So I could see them being more willing to put live action funds into the TV because the Star Wars TV has been pretty successful for what it is. But the Ahsoka trailer looks great. I'm sure there's stuff to dig into. Hu Yang being General Grievous, love that. Ezra and Zeb hugging, love that. The war stuff looks really good. I'm pissed Claudia Black is not going to be in this season because they didn't want to pay her enough money to justify flying back and forth
Oh yes, to be the witch,
because she,
the
'cause she
night
has a
sister.
kid
Yeah. Hmm.
and she didn't want to leave her kid for that long to go film in the UK. So other than that, other than being bummed about that, it looks great. A lot of Anakin Skywalker. Also love that we're getting the Clone Wars flashback again.
I do love that aspect of the show. I think that's honestly one of my favorite parts is the Anakin and Ariana Greenblatt Ahsoka. Like though that's actually kind of my favorite part about season one. So the fact that they're bringing that
Oh,
back for season two is
that was
amazing.
the best episode of season 1. Hands down, that was the best episode of season 1.
Agree. I do want to say though, as long as they expand upon that and it's not just like here's a flash of this memory, here's a flash of this memory. It's like actual scenes instead, like actual flashback kind of thing, I would prefer that. I don't want it to be like Ahsoka's traveling through the snow and then like she becomes her younger self when she's having visions of blah 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 blah.
I
I don't
think
like
it will
that.
end up, they have
Yeah.
to be really economical. So I think it will
Yeah.
end up mattering. I'm
Hmm.
glad they reincorporated because Ariana Greenblatt was one of the strongest casting decisions.
Agree.
What I didn't notice a lot of in the trailer was anything from Rosario.
There's not a
There's a lot
lot.
of people talking about Ahsoka,
Yeah, we don't see Ahsoka much in
but
the
we don't
trailer.
see Ahsoka herself very much
She doesn't
in the
do things
trailer.
in the trailer.
Yeah, she doesn't do a lot, which
A lot
makes
of
me
her
feel like
wistfully looking off in the distance or
they're
whatever.
holding a
Yeah.
lot back for
Yeah.
her.
Hmm.
They're not really telling, they're telling us this is going to be big and there's going to be a war, but we don't know a lot of details about it. But
All right. Well, we need to talk about Vision, so we got to move on.
yeah, we should probably talk about the thing that ostensibly this episode is supposed to be about.
So this week we're talking about Star Wars Visions Volume 3, The Lost Ones. After assisting refugees escape a natural disaster, an incognito F is forced to confront the ghosts of her past when their refugee ship is intercepted by the Empire. So, like we said last week, this is the same studio as before. This is Kinema Citrus. They did do The Village Bride, which is the prequel episode for this, or original episode, I guess I should say. This is a companion
Talk about
episode.
it. We'll talk about what I think is going on here.
Okay. But yeah, this is the same studio produced it. And I actually really want to talk about the writer and director real quick because you're gonna love this one. I don't
Okay.
know. You might actually cream your pants if you hear this. So the director the director is Hitoshi Haga, animation director. He does Hunter x Hunter movie. It's one of the things that he did. And he was a key animator on Pokemon. He was also the animation director for 2 episodes of the anime series Monster. Uh,
Oh yes.
season
Yes.
one,
Which
episode
two?
12 and 19.
Which two? Let me see what the plot of both of them. Oh, that one's
I knew
really
you would love
fucked
that.
up. Amika Little Experiment is really fucked up. Yep. For those of you who did not watch
The
some of our
the
previous
the
coverage,
lore of our Visions episodes.
the lore of our Visions episodes, Monster is not just my favorite anime of all time, but it is one of my favorite pieces of media of all time, period. I
Interesting.
think it's top three. I think it's the Lord of the Rings movies,
Okay,
the novel Dracula, and then Monster. Like
that's crazy.
this show, this show occupies like an insanely high ranking on my pantheon. Yes, I'm so glad you brought this up. Oh, yeah, and he directed the Abyss of the Monster 2 with the other serial killer. Okay. Yeah, no, these are some really fucking creepy episodes
There you go.
that he did of Monster.
I thought you would like that.
I do like that. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes.
And then the writer for the episode is Takahito Onoshi, who is known for Common Writer Gochard. I don't think that's how you say it. I don't know.
Hi, Lorelai. Lorelai really likes Kamen Rider.
I was gonna say that was something that stood out to me. So I was like, why do I know that name? And I was like, I'm gonna say it. And there you go. You just reminded me. And yeah, that's the writer and director. This is a tough one.
Here's where I think the disconnect in this episode comes in because I liked this episode.
Okay.
I didn't like it in relation to the first one. And the reason is
yeah.
that they had two different tones to them, I felt like. Episode 1, the first one from Vision Season 1, felt like more like we talked about the duel being, where it's one character, a Ronin on a journey that has adventures along the way. And that adventures tells us something about them, but the story's not about them. Like, F is a character in The Village Bride. The Lost Ones is about F.
Right.
And I also think that this one had it felt like season finale of a season we didn't watch. Like,
I agree.
this felt like it should be the end of a show, but I didn't get the other 10 episodes of the show.
This was the season finale of the show we didn't watch.
Correct.
Like
that
it was like
my
everything, yeah.
Opinion on it as I watched it. I was like, particularly having just watched The Ninth Jedi,
Right.
and being put into focus, how that one worked really well overall. We'll talk about it when we talk about it. but building up to the final climactic showdown, they had time to let it breathe and tell us the story. And this one felt like F is doing a climatic showdown with her master. Okay.
Yeah, there's no
I
setup
wish
for it.
I knew more about F
Yeah.
before we got into this. So like if you just shown me this unrelated to the first one, I think I would have liked it a lot more. As it stands, it's okay.
Hmm.
Like visually it's very interesting. The holodeck was kind of fun. Like that was sort of neat. As a neat twist on the Darth Vader meditation pod from Empire Strikes Back. But I mean, I just didn't have a lot to say about this one ultimately, which is a
Yeah,
tragedy because I loved The Village Bride.
I know. It was kind of like a whatever episode because, like I've said in the last episode, it was like every episode has a problem, or like every there's only three different types of episodes or whatever, and this one is a okay and like, and I don't understand why that is the case because I really like the character of F. I really like the premise, her setup, and everything. Don't know why they chose to do this for the episode, only because it's kind of like this would be a really, if the stakes were higher and it made sense for the whole show because we would have watched a whole show about this, then I would have been like, oh wow, this is a big character moment for this character. Like this is a huge thing, and it just
Mhm.
kind of ends.
They also do this thing that I don't really care for, where they don't really have time to make us care about the refugees on the boat. And
Right.
so they keep cutting to shots of children to
They're
let
like,
us
look,
know that,
kids. Yeah.
look, kids,
Feel bad. Yeah.
feel bad about
Hmm.
it. I also, it rang a little insincere to me too that Zero basically says, "Why are you protecting these people? They turned you in." And I'm like,
Because it was a
no, they
plot.
didn't.
Like, yeah, it was all
They quite literally did not do that. The emotional stakes for F, if Ron had actually turned her in and then turned around and changed his mind,
right.
but we didn't have time for him to go on that character arc because I also feel like the short's kind of doing a little too much.
Well, that's my biggest issue with this short is that the first half is a different episode than the second half. I feel like once F gets on the refugee ship, it's kind of like a different episode. Like it's like two halves. Like the first half is one episode where they're like, oh, there's a plot about the refugees and like their planet getting decimated and blah 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 blah, and that's like a whole thing. And then it's just kind of like, okay, now let's do an episode about F and her master.
Like
Like
I
totally
said,
separate, has nothing to do with the refugees.
it feels like the inverse of the Ninth Jedi in that the Ninth Jedi made their pilot episode and then said, we're making the whole thing.
Hmm.
And I feel like these creatives love F and have this whole backstory that they had for her, and then turned around and were like, well, we're only going to make one more of these. So let's jam pack it all into one.
Right, like the whole like, oh, my master's not really dead and comes back as the bad guy kind of thing is a great plot device. I love that. I think it's fun. I love when they do that. My problem is you can't do that if this were ever to become a show. Like it just you've ruined like your biggest like reveal. Like now, because F's biggest character driven thing is that her master was influential in her life or whatever and died, and then that is like sullied her experience or whatever, like because I think it's stated in the first short that he dies at the Battle of Geonosis or whatever, and
She thinks
it's
he's dead. I
right,
think he's supposed to be a clone.
but they don't explain it enough,
They
so
don't
you
explain shit in
they
this.
they're just like he's back, it doesn't matter how he came back, he's just back, like
Somehow,
somehow zero
Shadra
returned. Yeah,
returned.
yeah,
I do love the character design of the playing with gender for both of them and the
agree.
inverse. I am using the pronouns that the official site and the official summaries and things use, but I do like that F is voiced by a woman and more like has a character design leaning a bit more gender ambiguous,
Hmm.
and so does Shadra slash Zero, but he's being voiced by a male voice actor who we'll get to that in a minute. But both of them are very like Shadra has the long hair and like the very smooth design,
Right.
and F is a little rougher around the edges. There's more like blacks and blues in F versus Shadra, who's like got the very white hair. I love the design of these two characters so much. Like visually, I enjoyed looking at them.
I remember at Celebration when they showed Shadra's character design, and someone in the audience, or I guess I don't know if someone in the audience asked, or maybe the director just gave the information up, but someone basically said like, "Oh, is that a man or a woman?" And the director was kind of like, "You'll have to wait to find out." Like he was just like, I don't know what to tell you. Like you're just gonna have to see. Like, and it's like, oh, interesting. I'm just curious what the point of it is. Like I like it. I just don't know because we didn't get a fucking
Anime does it. I mean,
we just
that's
but we didn't
really
get
the
a fucking documentary
explanation.
on it, so I don't have any explanation other than just like they wanted to do it.
That is
I
true. I would
you know
love to get
right.
some background, but again, this season is really failing its creatives.
I know.
Uh, it's really failing its creatives by not letting them speak for themselves.
Which is so sad because like I don't love to like infer things all the time. Like I'd love to have an artist kind of explain themselves sometimes just to kind of give you like I mean I think art can be interpreted, but like I also kind of like when an author or a director or whoever a writer can tell you things like this is my intention and this is what I wanted. That's the one thing that pissed me off in high school is when, you're reading the fucking Great Gatsby and your English teacher tells you, what did the writer mean by this? I don't know. Did he write it down somewhere what he meant? Like, I don't need to interpret like what he fucking said. I don't, him getting off the bed and looking at blue lights across or the green light across the ocean doesn't have to symbolize growth and change or what did he fucking mean? Don't tell me. I have to
I
guess.
years after I read The Great Gatsby, I saw a post online
Yeah.
that if I had read it at 17, I would have been like, "Oh, that's what that meant." And it was the green staring at the green light across the lake in The Great Gatsby is a bit like seeing the little green online icon by your crush's name and not messaging them. And I went, "Oh,
That makes sense.
that makes sense." Uh, and I do think it is fascinating. I don't think authors should be totally silent. I do like knowing this is what the author meant. This is what the intentionality was. This is what the creative team had in mind when they created this particular piece of media. We have to view the media separate from that, but I also think it's important, both as a creative and as a fan of something, to be able to have access to that just for fascination's purposes. Like
Right.
the thing, I don't know. I've tapered off here. Tell us about the voice cast.
So the English voices for this short are Karen Fukuhara does return as F. As you know, she plays Katana in Suicide Squad and Kamiko in The Boys. Our new cast, though, we have two. Mark Strong as Zero or Shadra. He's known for doing the Kingsman franchise, Shazam movies. He was in Kick-Ass, Stardust, Sherlock Holmes, the Robert Downey Jr. ones, Dune Prophecy. He was in The Penguin recently, so
He's
he's
a
he's
that
just,
guy.
he's
You've
done a
seen this
bunch.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Carmine Falcone in The Penguin,
Hmm.
taking over from the original actor who didn't want to return because he thought The Penguin was too dark.
And that was his loss.
That was his loss because that show was pretty great by the end of it. I didn't like it while I was watching it, and I liked it in retrospect.
And then my favorite casting of the episode,
Oh,
uh,
yes. Let's talk about this guy.
Ryan Potter is doing the voice of Ron. He is best
We've
known
talked
for
about Ryan Potter on the show before, but in the Patreon exclusive sections.
this is true. He has done other things, but Big Hero 6, he was Hero, and that he is the main character. And then he's Gar Logan, aka Beast Boy in Titans.
Yes, absolutely wasted on that show. Absolutely fucking wasted on Titans.
Yeah.
I love this guy. He is a phenomenal actor. He is a huge nerd. He is an incredibly talented voice actor. He is a very pretty man, which he's also a lot older than he looks.
Yeah.
Like he's 31, I think, and still playing like
High
in his
schoolers.
early 20s. Like he has aged
Yeah.
remarkably well.
I love that.
He was in a fan short for Batman Beyond as Terry McGinnis.
He was also in a Star Wars fan film. Something like I don't know what it was called, but I just saw it on his thing.
His IMDb.
Yeah, it was like a Star Wars fan film he was in. So
Lost Tales of the Republic, The Purge.
there you go.
He is an incredibly talented actor who really, really needs to be getting more
Yeah, I was
work.
the lack of stuff on his IMDb was interesting.
Criminal.
Yeah, it was
Utterly
interesting.
criminal. he fucking carried. There are points of Titans where he is carrying the entire show on his back.
This will go into our kind of where do you want to see this go. This cast is actually so strong voice wise that I'm curious as to why there is no show for this one, or there is no Visions Presents for this, or like, I mean, it might be a thing at some point.
Please announce it.
Because I feel like this
I
cast is
beg
so
you
good.
to announce it.
And
Please announce this show.
And the one thing that I think would lead into that, like I think the way they could salvage this, right, is the fact that the whole episode was designed to be like, hey, here's a thing that happened to this planet, right? And that is the how we're going to defeat the villain in the end, right? Like that was kind of the whole point of the episode was like to show you like here's the plot point in the beginning, like this is what killed all these
Set
people,
up,
blah blah blah.
payoff.
Right. Because that it is what is it? It's called it's just carbonite gas, right? We know that that's just been a thing in Star Wars for a while. And we've
Sure,
seen
that's not how carbon freezing works, but sure.
right, but you could make it work to where it doesn't actually kill someone. I mean, in the short, it's all implied that anybody who got touched by the stuff would die or whatever, and like been like encased in like stone and they're dead. But because it's carbonite, like we could come up with some excuse to like maybe Zero survives this somehow. There's a way to reverse the technology or whatever, right? And unfreeze him. And then he's like, now I got to get my revenge on F
Yep.
kind of thing.
Somehow
Like,
Clone Zero returned or whatever.
yeah, there's ways they could do it, I feel like. Especially if he is just a clone. And then it's like, okay, well, let's make another clone. Like, let's make another, you know what I mean? Like, that could be an interesting plot point too. I don't know how they would do it or if that's what they want to do, but I feel like I wouldn't want to waste this voice cast if that's the case.
I would like to see this continue.
I
I ultimately would like to see this continue.
I would as long as it's not the Ronin reheated nachos. Like I really feel like
yeah,
it's a little
not
too
the
close.
Ronin,
Yeah.
not the Ronin. We've had enough Ronin, which I do feel to an extent. Some of these season 3 shorts have been pilot episodes.
Well, that
The
was
Bounty
my
Hunters,
next part. Yeah.
The Smuggler,
Mhm.
Yuko's Treasure, all have felt like they could be pilot episodes.
So my conspiracy theory is that anything that got a sequel episode is going to get a Visions Presents, and then anything that didn't will just get a sequel episode in the next season of Visions or whatever. And
I
then
don't think they're going to do another season of Vision.
I don't know. I don't think so, but like
I think they're
definitely
done.
think
I think they're done with this.
yeah. I think that well then I definitely think though that the Visions Presents like it's just going to be the Ronin and the Lost Ones. Like that's the two next ones. Because why else would they do sequel episodes? You know what I mean? It just doesn't. And Village or Ninth Jedi did get its own Visions Presents, and that was one of the sequel episodes. So I'm assuming that either Ronin will be announced next, or I don't know what you call this one because this one has two different names. It doesn't have like a naming convention each time. So this one would just be
the F verse.
F, yeah, the F series. I don't know what you
The
want to
F
call
verse.
it, but
I don't know.
F versus
I
Zero.
would like to see this continue.
I agree.
I would like more with F. I think she's a very interesting character, and I broadly like the animation. I broadly like the characters that they introduced. I just wanted more of them.
I agree. I think the character designs are always so good in these shorts. Like so far both of them, I've felt like, oh, that's an interesting design, or that character looks interesting, or like the clothing is interesting, or the design, you know, the lightsaber design, or her shoe design, or whatever. Like it all visually, like you're just like, oh, that's so visually interesting. I want more of that. So if we can have that, great, please. That would be fantastic.
I don't have any final thoughts on this. I think I've stated everything I needed.
Okay, yeah,
to
I really don't either. I
Great.
think my final thoughts are just like it was good. Let's see more.
Okay. What are we covering next week? Well, now our schedule had to fucking change again.
Well, okay. Well,
I
not too bad.
thank
Not
you.
too bad.
Thank you, by the way, to the multiple people who reached out to me when they confirmed Ahsoka for January,
Yes.
going, "How are you and Bradley? Are you okay? That you've had to change your schedule again."
Again, which is okay. And that was the design. That's how
That
we
was the
designed it.
design.
Yes.
That was we designed the show to be flexible-ish to where we could,
Right.
you know, twist it around as we needed to. And so what's coming up? What's on the slate? Because we also know that Mandalorian Grogu is coming to Disney Plus on September 2nd.
Yes. So we'll finish out Visions. We have 3 more episodes left. Next week we're doing the Smuggler's Bounty, and then we will do the last two episodes of Visions.
Alrighty.
Pluggables, if you want to watch stuff that I've done, I work in reality TV. I've worked on shows like Married to Medicine on Bravo, and Temptation Island season 2 is on Netflix. And my newest show is supposed to come out in November. I don't know exactly when. I'll have more details on that once I get it. I also have another, funny enough, I have two shows in the can, like just not released yet. So whenever they decide to release those, I will talk about it. And then I have another show starting tomorrow. So we'll talk about that when that's over. So we'll see.
Bradley's booked and busy. He is working, working, working. You can find me on the Star Wars TTRPG podcast for Light and Dice. That is a good way into its third season. We have recorded several episodes ahead, so that's very exciting. Jump on that if you have not gotten into that show. It's a great binge listen. I also write books. I write queer crime drama set in the gay porn industry. So Bradley was alluding to them a little bit in our patron only section. You can find those books. They're called Beach House Studios. They're on Amazon, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, and you can request them through your library. If you want to know how Bradley alluded to them, you can also subscribe to our Patreon. That is patreon.com/Gold Squadron Gays. $3 a month gets you the co-pilot tier. That gives you our 15 to 30 minute warm-up section at the beginning of each episode, as well as unedited video episode, where they are 99% unedited. Sometimes Bradley has to cut something out. For the most part, they are unedited. So if you want to listen to me go off on a random tangent, that's the place for you. All right, Bradley. Well, I guess we'll keep going through Visions. Fuck our schedule, I guess. Thanks, Lucasfilm. Trailer looked great. Run the socials. Thank you for listening to Gold Squadron Gays. Did Charles fuck something up? Email us at goldsquadrongays@gmail.com and let us know. You can follow us on BlueSky, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Gold Squadron Gays. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Gold Squadron Gays, where we post full episodes of this podcast. If you like the podcast, you can also rate us and review us on your favorite podcast app of choice. Please join us next week and every week for another episode of Gold Squadron Gays.
I don't like the main character. I think that's the real problem. Is like,
Oh, I hate him.
well, yeah, because he's you.
No, he is not.
Yes, he is. He is
No,
you.
he is not.
Yep, you're the same
Nope.
person. That's why you don't like him.
We are not even remotely the same person.
Yes, you both have weird belly buttons. You both have writer's complex. You
First
both
of all,
have...
how do you know what my belly button looks
I'm
like?
just kidding.